Tiny House Prepper. Hi everybody, this is Bill from Tiny House Prepper. This is part 5 of our shed rebuild. If you haven't seen the first 4 parts, I'll put a link up here for a playlist for the first 4 parts of the series. Pretty much have the framing done. Now I need to do the roofing and the siding. Now after I finished the walls, I knew that because of my work schedule, it was going to be about 2 weeks until I could get to this again. The work that you just saw me do on the roof over there, I actually got home from work a couple of hours earlier than usual, and I had like 3 hours of daylight left, so I decided to go for it. And I was very happy and pleased that I actually finished that. I got the OSB decking on and the tar paper over on the right side there in about 3 hours. So now it's Saturday, the day that I was expecting to actually do the roof, and this is they were all of a sudden were calling for 80% chance of rain today, and I was really disappointed because I thought it was going to be a washout and I wouldn't be able to get any work done. I woke up this morning and discovered that the weather report had changed and it was only supposed to be heavy overcast all day, but only 10% chance of rain. So I'm going to go for it. Hopefully I'll get the other side of the roof, the decking on and the tar paper on, and get it actually dried in so that I don't have to use those tarps anymore. Now I need to cut off the end of each one of those rafters, make it level so that I can put the fascia board against it. A lot of people will actually cut it on the ground before they put it up, but I don't like to do that. What I've discovered is that if there's any variation with the way the truss is set, if one's pushed in too far or one's pushed out a little too far, then you put the fascia on, the fascia board, and it ends up looking like a snake. So I put it up like this and I cut it after I put it up. What I do is I measure out, this is a 3-foot overhang, so I measured out from the roof, or from the wall 3 feet, put a mark, and down at the other end, and then I ran it up from above. I ran a chalk line all the way down to get a nice straight line, and then I have to use the level to mark each one, and then I cut them in place. There's my chalk line mark from up above. Then I mark it with a level to make sure it's completely plumb up and down, to make sure the fascia will be straight. And now that I have the marks, then I can come up here with a skill saw and cut them all off. Just like that. And I'll do that all the way down. Now I can nail the fascia board on. I do most of my construction projects working alone. Even when I was a full-time contractor, I still did that. There are really two reasons. One is that there's so many government regulations in hiring employees, and there's so much extra expense with the the workman's comp and the extra Social Security you got to pay on them and all those other things, that it costs me actually more per hour to pay the extra benefits than it did to pay a salary. And the other reason is because if I finished a job and I didn't have another one, then I didn't have any work, then I was in trouble, but that was on me. I didn't want to be responsible for another family if I couldn't get enough work and couldn't keep my helper working. It didn't happen very often, but I just didn't need that stress. So most of what I did was I acted as a general contractor, and I hired other subcontractors. We did modular homes, so we would bring the home in and crane it onto the foundation, which was done by masons. And then I would do a lot of the button up, but we would hire subcontractors when needed. But I also would do most of the smaller projects myself. Building a deck or even a shed or even a garage, something like that, I could usually do by myself. When you work by yourself, you discover ways to do things that you really should have two people. And this is a perfect example right here. I got this fascia board, which I need to put up right up there. Now, in order to support this, I got to be holding it right in the center. But if I do that, then I can't see the end, which has to be flush with the end of that. And if I go over there where I can see the end, then I can't hold up the board because I got to be here in the center. And this one actually isn't too bad. This is only an 8-foot piece. Over on the other side, I did it in one piece 16 feet, so I had to be in the middle 8 feet away from the end. So what I do when I'm doing it by myself is I just put a board on the end as a stop on the outside that I can just push the fascia board right up against it, and then I put two boards on top as stops so I can push the fascia board right up there, and it gets me in perfect place to be able to put up the fascia board by myself. So I got this board that needs to go right here on the end to act as a stop for the fascia board that comes in here. Now, I'm actually going to screw this on because this is so spongy. This way right now it's not braced. It would be hard to drive a nail. It would also be easier to get out if it's screwed in. Now you can see that I have the stop there on the end to push the board against, and then I've got one there to push up against it, and another one over there. This will make it very easy to place the fascia all by myself. While I'm at it too, I also want to mention this ladder that I've got. This is a folding ladder, it folds into 4 sections. One there, there's a hinge there. 12 feet if you open it up straight, 6 feet if you fold it in half, and it's a 6-foot step ladder. But I like it because you can go into these other kinds of contortions like this. With that 3-foot overhang, if I just lean the ladder up against the wall, it was too far over my head and I couldn't reach it. But with this configuration, with this ladder, it works perfect. Just to be able to get right up there. I love this ladder. I've had it for about 15, 20 years. Quick and easy, all by myself. All I got to do now is finish nailing it. Okay, so I got the fascia on all the way down. You can see that it's nice and straight because of the way I cut off with a chalk line. You can see the stops that I put there. Since I'm working by myself, when I start on the OSB on the roof, that'll keep the OSB from sliding off the end since I'm doing this by myself. So, looks like we're ready to go, ready to fly with the OSB. That goes much faster. This work I've been doing here is slow and tedious. With the OSB and then the tar paper, you can see a lot better progress a lot faster. By the way, I keep talking about OSB. For those of you who don't know, that is this on the wall. OSB stands for Oriented Strand Board. You can see how there's all these different strands of wood, all oriented in different directions and all glued together. This, we use this instead of plywood. It costs about half as much as plywood does. And in some applications it's even stronger than plywood. Now I used 3/4 inch tongue and groove plywood on the floor, and then I used plywood on this wall and stained it. You can see that's plywood, there's a knot. Because I'm going to be stacking firewood against here, and I wanted that'll take a more of a beating than this will. But I'm using the OSB on the other 3 walls because they're going to be covered with vinyl, and on the roof because they'll be covered with shingles at about half the cost of plywood. So I'm very happy with what I've accomplished today. It's been heavy overcast all day, but the rain held off. Obviously I still need to do the shingles, but I got the tar paper completely, I got the thing completely dried in so that when it rains it won't damage the plywood floor down underneath. So I think it's been good progress for today and I'm very happy. By the way, this camera is set up here on the roof of our little RV trailer. That's the only way I could figure for you to actually be able to see the roof of the shed, because it's so high. If I put the camera down on the ground, it's got to be so far away you can't see what I'm doing. So I'm up on the roof of the trailer right now. So I finished my work for the day and I was cleaning up my tools, and it's about 5 o'clock, time to quit. And just as I was putting my last tool in the shed and locking the door, I started to feel a little bit of misty, spitting rain coming down on me. I finished just in time. My timing couldn't have been more perfect. Thank you, Jesus. Elizabeth always likes to say that everything that you plan to do always takes longer and costs more than you expect. And I think she's right. Today, I spent the morning going to the store to get shingles and that sort of thing, and then I got back and I got the gable end done here and the fascia on both ends. And then here, I don't know if you can see it, but I got half the shingles done on the back side of the shed right here. Right there. And by the way, I have a new toy. This is a new selfie stick. I've never used one before, so I'm learning how to use it. It's kind of like looking in the mirror. It always turns the opposite way from what you expect, but I'll get the hang of it. Anyway, I thought that this would be the final video, but everything, like Elizabeth says, is just taking so much longer than I expected. I got about another hour of daylight, but I'm not going to work on it anymore today. And next weekend, next Saturday, I have to work, so that means I'm 2 weeks out again until I can get to work on it again. So I'm looking. I was joking a couple videos ago that I hope I get it done before the snow flies, but now it's not so funny. This is October 15th, and I do hope I get it finished by the 1st of December the way I'm going. When you can only work 2 Saturdays out of 3, it takes a long time, and like I mentioned before, I'm not 25 anymore. Everything's a little slower. And anyway, I am going to post this video. I thought it would be the last one, but I'm going to go ahead and give you this update, and then the next one hopefully we'll be finishing the shingles and getting the siding on and the ramp that goes up to the door. So I hope you're enjoying this series, and please make any comments you'd like to make, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you very much. We'll see you on the next one.